Hello everyone. Today I will be demonstrating the lease accounting feature in NetSuite. I will be going through the different tasks that you can perform in the account using the module. The lease accounting feature was created to, number one, eliminate the need to create spreadsheets to manage your lease schedules. Number two, integrate with the fixed assets management application so that your lease asset also goes through the asset lifecycle. And lastly, the lease accounting feature complies with the lease standards, IFRS 16 and ASC 842, that requires most leases to be recognized on the balance sheet. There are a number of prerequisite tasks required for you to use the feature. This includes creating your right of use GL accounts and also your lease liability account. You also need to have an asset type record for the right of use assets. My demo today will cover the following points: the creation of the lease record in NetSuite, the recording of the right of use asset and lease liability, proposing and creating the asset record, and lastly, amortizing the asset and accruing lease interest expense. Let's get on to it. So the first thing that you need to do in NetSuite is to create the lease record. So I'll just pull up one that I created in the account earlier. All right, so the lease record is where information about the lease is stored. As you can see here, the lease company or the vendor is available. Also, the lease contract number, the asset description, the rental frequency, the term in months, the interest rate, and the lease start and end dates. If I scroll down, let me just do that. Under posting reference, you will be able to see the right of use asset account, the lease liability account, and also the interest expense accounts assigned. Okay, another tab available on the lease record is the actual amortization schedule. So let's just go to that. And here you will be able to see the date of the payment, the actual payment amount, and values such as the net present value and the interest amounts. In NetSuite, you actually only need to enter the date of the payments and the payment amounts. NetSuite will automatically calculate all of the other values for you. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to try and create a new lease record with a term of 6 months and a rate of 4% annually. So I'll go to fixed assets, leases, lease proposal, and then new. Okay. I will go ahead and just put in a new date here. I'll select the vendor. Okay. I'll enter a contract number. Okay. An asset description. So I'll put in, let's say, Miller Street office. Okay. I'll select the rental frequency. So in this case, you can choose between monthly or annual. I'll select monthly. I'll enter a lease term, so 6 months, as I've said earlier. I'll put in a 4% interest rate, and then I'll enter the lease start date. So I'll put in the 1st of September and notice how the system automatically calculated my lease end date. All right, I'll go ahead and select my subsidiary. So I'll select the Australia one. I won't populate the department, class, and location information in here. It's not really required. So let me just scroll down and then I'll assign my GL accounts. So I'll select my right of use asset account, my lease liability account, and then my interest expense account. All right. Prior to saving this record, I'll also put in the payments and the payment dates in the schedule tab. So as you can see in here, the only editable columns are the date and the lease payments column. So I'll go ahead and enter the 6 payments. So let me just do that. So end of September, I'll enter, let's say, 15,000 in here. For the end of October, it's going to be the same. End of November, end of December. Let me just scroll down a bit. And then end of January 2021. And then end of February 2021 for the last payment. All right. So I've entered all of the payments now, and then I'll go ahead and save the record. Okay, so the record is now created, and as you can see, NetSuite auto-generated the lease proposal record number, and you will also see the status of the record. So the status right now says pending lease journal creation. Okay, let me just scroll down again, and then we'll look at the lease amortization schedule tab. You will see in here that NetSuite automatically calculated the values for net present value, balance, interest, and principal using the information that I have entered earlier. Okay. In addition to NetSuite populating this sublist, NetSuite also populated the lease summary section. And in here, you will be able to see the total of the amounts under the schedule tab. Okay. So now that we have the lease record set up in the system, the next step is to recognize the right of use asset and the lease liability in your balance sheet. This is done using the Create Lease Journal button. So I'll go ahead and click that. Okay, so this pop-up window will be displayed, and all you need to do is click OK to continue. Okay, it might take a bit for the process to finish, so we'll just go and wait until the record is refreshed. All right, so now that the page has refreshed, you will be able to see in here that a journal entry has been created and the link is available on the actual lease record. In addition, the status has changed to journal created. So let's just have a quick look at the journal entry record. So I'll open that in a new tab. All right, so you can see in here that the right of use asset account was debited, and then the lease liability account was credited. So these are the GL accounts that I have assigned on the lease proposal record itself. Okay, you will also be able to see the vendor name in here, and the asset description that I've entered in the lease record will also appear in the memo columns. Okay, so the next step, now that the journal entry is posted, is to propose and generate an asset record in NetSuite. So there are 2 steps involved. So the first one is to create the asset proposal record. So let me just go to Fixed Assets, Transactions, and then asset proposal. All right, so I'll be specifying a date range. So let me just put the first of September, and then the end of September in here. Okay, I'll select the subsidiary, which is Australia, and I'll pick the asset type in here. So I'll select right of use, click add, and then click propose new assets. Okay, we'll wait for this process to finish, but let me go back to the lease record. I'll just refresh this and see if the asset proposal has been created. So once the record is created in the system, you will see the link to the asset proposal in here. So right now it doesn't show anything, which means that the process hasn't finished yet. I'll just continue refreshing this page, and there you go. You will see that a link is now available, and this will direct us to the asset proposal record. All right, let's just have a quick look at that. I'll close this browser in here, and you will see in here that the source transaction is provided on the proposal record. You will also see the asset description, the accounting method, etc. So this is very, well, not just similar. This is the same process that you do with your other asset types. Okay, so let me just go back to the lease proposal record. And one thing that you will notice in here as well is that the status of the record has changed to asset proposed. All right. So earlier it was showing journal created. Now it has gone to the next stage. All right. So the next process, once the asset proposal record is created, is to actually generate the asset record for it. Okay, so I'll go now to fix assets, transactions, and manage asset proposal to do that. So let me just scroll down, and what we need to do is find the asset proposal that is linked to the journal in here. So this last line in here tells me that this is the asset proposal for the journal that we created earlier. So you have to pick the select box, all right, and then just click this button to create an asset record for the lease. Okay, I'll click OK here, and there you go. So I'll just go back to the lease proposal record once more, and then just continue refreshing the page and wait for this field, the asset field, to be populated. All right. Okay, so it's taking a bit of time. So we'll just wait for that to finish. And there you go. So the asset record link is now available, and the status of the lease has changed from asset proposed to asset created. Let's have a quick look at the asset record. All right, so this is the asset record. As you can see here, the asset type is set to the right of use asset. You will also be able to see that my asset description is the same as the asset description on the lease record. Okay, you will also see in here the asset lifetime. So this is the same as my lease term. So there is actually a setting in NetSuite which defines whether the lease term would be used or the standard asset lifetime of the asset type. I'll just quickly go to that page and show you. All right. So under the fixed assets management page, we have a setting called use lease term as asset life. And that is the reason why My lease term, which is 6 months, as you can see in here, is the same as my asset lifetime. Okay. One thing also that you will be able to see in here is the net present value of the lease record is populated onto the cost fields. Okay. So let me just scroll down once more, and you will be able to see in the accounts tab, my right of use GL accounts are specified in here. Okay. So let's just go back to the lease proposal record once more. Okay, as I mentioned again earlier, the asset link is available in here. The status has changed as well. The asset record is already available, and you will be able to run depreciation for this asset as part of your month-end processes. Okay, so the next step to the process is to record your lease interest. So the interest amounts, as you saw before, are available in the lease amortization schedule tab. So let me just go to that page or tab once more. So you need to actually record the interest for the month. What I'm going to do now is record the interest for September. Okay, to do that, I'll go to fixed assets, leases, and then record lease interest. Okay, I'll put in a date in here. So I'll just enter the end of September as the date. I will select my subsidiary, which is Australia, and then I'll click the record interest button. Okay, so I'll just go back to the lease record once more. Okay, and then let me just have a quick look at the schedule tab. If the lease interest journal is already created, you will be able to see the link in here. So it's not there yet, so I'll just refresh the page once more. Okay, go back to that. It's not yet there, so we'll just have to wait a bit. There you go. So the journal entry has been created already. The link is now available in the tab. And one thing that you have to take note of is that only one lease interest journal can be generated per period. Let's look at the journal entry created. All right, so this is the journal, and let me just scroll down and let's look at the GL impact. So for the operating lease, you will see here that the accumulated depreciation account was debited and the lease liability account was credited. Okay, so that's actually the process for lease accounting from start to end. NetSuite also comes with a few pre-configured reports for lease accounting, and you will be able to access them when you go to fixed assets searches. All right, so these are the lease reports currently available in NetSuite. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for your time and have a good day.